Good evening, racing fans. Welcome back to Friday Night War. It is the PlayStation 4 night or PlayStation 5 night, whichever platform you are playing on. We are here at Suzuka, the Japanese Grand Prix here as the clock winds down on this very, I suppose, action-packed season in World Online Racing. We're back again with some really fascinating, certainly some very fascinating action. And I'm joined once again by the one, the only, Sam Thompson. Sam, how you doing?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening to George. And yes, this is one of the races you don't want to miss, particularly Japan. Very tricky circuit. Very easy to make mistakes through sector one, of course. Well, all sectors, to be honest. But it's one of those tracks that we all love to drive. And because of that, we probably will see a bunch of different results here tonight to the usual. And, well, the championship battle is still not over, is it, George? And, well, unfortunately, we won't have midnight here tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like. However, we still technically do have a championship fight on. It's not over 100%, but it's a little bit less likely to have a different champion to Ballina. So the ball is in his court. He is the one leading this championship by quite a mile now. So interesting night here tonight, George, and possibly we could be having a new winner here tonight again.
We could well do. And I have to say, with Midnight's departure, as you so eloquently put there as well, Sam, naturally that moves Cornet up into P2 of the championship. The gap now between them is currently lying at 36 points. So between that is between Cornet and, of course, Ballina, who's currently leading the championship on 99 points against Cornet's 63. But watch out for Young Power as well. Took a very sensational race win last time out in Italy at Monza at the Temple of Speed. It was absolutely unbelievable. But Young Power showing that pace that we have seen all season. It's just taking him a little bit of time, isn't it, Sam, to sort of hook things up and make sure that he gets a positive result out on track.
Yeah, and now he's got that win in his court. He's got that momentum going. And of course, Ballina getting that back last week with a P2. But let's not jump over ourselves here, really, with Young Power. He's only raced 3 races this season. That's 2 more than what Ballina has. So this means if Young Power really puts on the pace, he will catch that gap nice and easy. And Young Power, it's not like he's unlikely to do it, is it? He's finished 4th, finished 2nd, and finished 3rd in his 3 races he's competed here. So definitely has shown consistent pace to be near the front of the field. But then again, so has VRT Ballina. 3 victories this season, 3 in a row. In fact, he's looking to get back on the top step here tonight. And well, looking at early pace, of course, in the practice sessions, and this is just practice, let's just remember, he was looking very quick with a 1 minute 24.6. So still a lot of things flying around the air for Young Power and a lot of for Cornet as well. And of course, Ash Best too is unlikely to find himself in the frame, but on his day he can be very quick. So all these drivers have a potential shot to potentially get that gap right down on VRT Ballina.
We certainly do, and I've got to say, everyone at home, if you're all watching on here as we now are live here from Suzuka, these are the live pictures as we can see it here in qualifying. Of course, short quali upon us now here at WOR on the PS4 Championship. And naturally, it's all going to come down to this. Certainly a fast time will certainly be very prudent at a track such as this. It's very tricky here at Suzuka, obviously quite technical as well. You've got the long start finish straight, that sort of spreads between turn 18 and turn 1. But then afterwards, you've got that very tricky snake section where, of course, can throw a lot of drivers off. As Ballina, there's your championship leader, currently making his way out, leading the contingent of cars now, out round the circuit, heading through the snake section now. Just look at it. What a stunning part of the track this is.
Yeah, Sector 1 is by far probably one of the more iconic parts of the track. Of course, the S-curves, of course, very famous for many drivers. Expect to see a few spins in qualifying here, perhaps towards the end of it as drivers continue to push. But this track is filled with iconic corners, of course. Spoon curve, turn 13 and 14, of course. Obviously 130R as well at turn 15, where we saw obviously in 2005 Fernando Alonso going flat out round the outside of Michael Schumacher. And of course, that final 3 corners of turn 16, 17 and 18 at Casino Triangle. So there is a lot of good corners around this track, and again, this is a very technical track. The tyre temps also heat up quite well around this track, and well, if we see rain in the race, I believe in races sometimes punches are not punches are almost inevitable for some drivers with the wrong strategy.
Yeah, they've got to be careful. Strategy is very, very key. We came here, of course, with Xbox on Monday night, and we did see the puncture rear its ugly head, of course. And that did cause a little bit of a fray in the result, of course, moving Antoine up into the podium places. But here comes Ballina now, coming out of the Casio Triangle chicane and powering through now round the final corner of turn 18, heading down the straight now. The start-finish line is time now gets ticking up in the top right-hand corner. Here comes Ballina around turns 1 and 2. This, of course, being the first corner bends, heading up now towards the snake section. Now, this bit is where it gets tricky. You need to position the car in all the right places in order to make the most out of the entrances and exits. There is Lars Kramer just letting Ballina through there. Very smoothly done indeed as Ballina now makes his way around the Dunlop curve. This is, of course, the first lap to get away in the offing. Always good to have a nice tasty banker as he heads through the Degners now, 1 and 2, heading under the Fanatec banner as well, up towards the hairpin bend. You got a little right hand kink at this point. You want to brake just after that corner, heading round now, a lock up on the left hand side, but it won't matter. These, of course, these tyres will be disposed of very quickly after he nails down a fast lap time, around 200R now. And this again, this corner, you got to hug the inside line in order to get a lovely exit inside a spoon curve. Gears down into 5th, straight up to 6th very shortly. He actually drops to 4th briefly just to get a bit of extra rotation heading around the latter part of that corner. Now down the 130R very shortly after the back stretch. The Alfa Romeo looking to once again taste P1 glory, as he has done so 3 times already this season. Comes down towards the Casio Triangle chicane now. Here comes Ballina. Another lock up there on the right inset. Powering out of the chicane now. Cornet goes to the top of the 125.5 as Ballina now comes up towards the line and goes fastest. They're quicker by near enough 0.3 of a second. Ballina on top in the Alfa Romeo, as he is so used to. Cornet in behind in P2.
Yeah, he's very much on form tonight, is Ballina at the moment. 0.3 already clear of Cornet, who arguably is still technically a championship rival. So very quick from Ballina that lap. He had a very good lap as well. There's not much time really he can really get from that lap, in my opinion. It looked very strong indeed. Cookie Games comes towards the line. He's had a few good races, and well, his qualifying was alright. I felt like he had a little bit of a shaky moment over the final few corners, so looks like a bit more time for Cookie Games. But talking of him, he's actually had some really good performances as of late, and arguably he was quite unlucky not to win the race in Monza last time out.
No, he was. He was very unfortunate. He was right in the midst of it. And in fact, he did have a very good qualifying session indeed. He was actually qualified pole, I believe, at Monza, and did not manage to convert it into a positive result. But unfortunately, it went all south for him at the end of the day. But here comes Young Power now. Impressed last time out after he won the race at Monza. Comes out of the Casio Triangle chicane. Now we know a little bit about Young Power as well as Legend. Moves up to P4, and Young Power straight up into P2, representing VRT. Both of them on the front row of the grid. 0.3 of a second, just under 0.3, should I say, below Ballina in P2. But nevertheless, ahead of Cornet, who is currently P2 in the championship, obviously, given that Midnight has pulled out of the league. But another great showing here from VRT Young Power. Superb stuff there, Sam.
Yeah, the Haas driver really liking all the tracks on the calendar so far, and this seems to be no different as he slots himself into second place. But who is going to beat that lap from Ballina? In this first stint, he looks clear. Now, this is the question. Has he potentially burnt himself out too early, has Ballina? Because these drivers, they do know this is a banker run. This isn't going to likely be their quickest run. And they're going to make that time up on Ballina. The thing is that as Facilo, I've not seen much of him. He's gone second place, taking down Young Power in third place. But that time is going to go away bit by bit. That gap between first and second is going to keep going away as the more this track evolves. So Ballina really needs to make sure he gets a quicker lap in just for that extra security. But a lot of drivers still to set their laps, George.
Yeah, they certainly are. Cohen is out on the track as well, looking to set his lap. Obviously, Facilio, this is his first visit here to this championship. Of course, we haven't seen him at all this season, but what a visit indeed. P2 from the get-go. Haas looking for a grand revival and certainly looking to apply more points on the board. Obviously, Young Power's win last week was a huge boost to their prospects, moving them up to P3 in the championship. Another one would certainly go a long way as we now see Cohen now cross the line to commence his fast lap. We got Ash Best out on laps as well. Jory, Dynastics, both of them on out laps, as well as Matthew as well, who has also been amongst the points all season long. And I'm happy to to state and confident to claim he's one of the sole men to actually apply points all season on the board, despite actually, I think the one dispute was obviously with Italy. He wasn't able to field the points on the board, and naturally that brought an end to his run of consecutive points, which was a real shame to see, but nevertheless, a great performance nonetheless. Cohen coming around the second deck now, and it's all on him, because obviously Midnight being dispatched from this championship means he's the sole man who has been in the Mercedes all season long. They currently find themselves P2 in the Constructors, and of course at this stage, a distant memory for that of Alfa Romeo. Of course, Bellina doing a superb job claiming those 3 wins in tandem in races 2, 3 and 4. And that certainly served him well, and certainly served Alfa Romeo well. But he's also joined by a very competitive driver in Ash Best as well, who's always in certainly among the talking points of points. And as we're now seeing Cohen now coming down the 130R, a little bit of a toe perhaps there off his teammate Rudy as they ran the 130R now, heading down towards the Casio Triangle chicane. And here comes Cohen, looking to put the black arrow there on the top spot, and certainly he's just the man who could potentially do it here on the soft tyres. Coming round the final bend here, DRS opens up. Cohen moves up to P7 at 25.786 is the time he nails on the board. And great to see all these lap times filtering in, all of them within a second.
Yeah, as usual, really. We've seen that a lot this season already. Most tracks having drivers in between a second of each other. Interestingly, Jory and Cohen both on the same time there at 7.86 there. Cornet's just invalidated his lap, so that's his lap over. But it looks like Ballina's going quick until he's just invalidated it. So he's ruined possibly a spectacle of a lap. But Ash Best did come across the line as well. Obviously very experienced in league racing is Ash Best, and he's plotted himself into 9th place. I think he could do better though, because through the spoon curve he did have a slight moment there which lost him probably a couple of attempts there, so expect to see a better lap time from Ash Best coming in towards the end of this session, but still 4 drivers yet to set their lap time.
Absolutely, but at this moment in time you can now see Dynastics coming across for Williams. P16 is all he can nail, no improvement there. Rudy coming down this long stretch as well. He's got the ERS pointed forward in overtake mode. He is going for it here as they make their way down towards the Casio Triangle chicane. He's got a little bit of traffic to negotiate. That is VRT Bellina, of course, in P1, but naturally automatically darts out the way, obviously knowing that Rudy was coming up behind him. Here comes Rudy now, P12. He can only improve a few places there, goes ahead of TTG Benny in the Alpha Tauri. Simon there as well. A little movement there as Ash Best, I believe, has moved up a place. Lars Kramer up into P7. He's on an outlap as well. Matthew moving himself up into P6. So nice visit there for the Renault. And credit to Cookie Games as well, qualifying well again as VRT Santeri in the Red Bull goes up into P2, and just under 0.2 of a second the difference between those two as well. So a great visit from Santeri, who automatically drops the Haas cars onto the second row of the grid. VRT looking extremely strong here tonight, Sam.
Yeah, they definitely are. They've definitely put the practice in for this one, I'm guessing. So they all look very, very quick in Cornet as well, previously in VRT, I believe, as well. So very quick drivers is Ballina, Santeri, and Young Power at the moment. As Cookie Games, we said about this, the times will go down for Ballina, and he won't be on that pole position with that time for long, and that has just happened. Cookie Games by the nearest of margins there, 5 thousandths, and Ballina did actually invalidate his previous lap, so he is not invincible. He is beatable in this qualifying session, and he's not invincible to mistakes either, is Ballina. So Cookie Games currently on pole position, but when will Ballina get that lap time in?
Again, he's proven that he can qualify well here, Sam, which is intriguing to see. It's just the race, in terms of what happens when he's in race form, that certainly does make the difference. He needs to ensure that he can keep the same performance out on the track in a race scenario, and that is the key thing, and that has been letting Ferrari down all season, to be honest with you. They've only scored 16 points all season long. Bear in mind, we've had approximately now, well, we've had 6 rounds this season, and they've only managed to pull together 16 points. Naturally, they got a good driver here in Cookie Games. Dino as well is no one to be trifled with. He's out on the lap right now as well, but certainly enough potential in this team in order to generate some good positive results. Facilio now back on track again, just rounding Spoon Curb. Young Power is also out on track still as well. You'd expect the Hasses to improve now. We're within the final 6 minutes now of qualifying pretty much, folks, and this is where the times will start filtering in really quick now as the track starts to warm up. Do expect maybe even a very, very early 25, maybe even a 24 if we're lucky, as we're now watching Facilio coming out of the Casio Triangle chicane, and that looks very smooth indeed. Here he comes now, Facilio looking to improve yet again, and he goes P2 there with a 125.263. His teammate Young Power closing in behind as well. He's just about to run round the 130R, and there has to be looking to tip the top end once again. He's getting a bit used to it. Got very close to Berliner there while Berliner was warming up his tyres. That was a close call, as we're now watching Young Power move round the final corner here at turn 18. Comes across the line now. He goes P4. That's a Haas on Ps2 and Ps4, representing on rows 1 and 2. An improvement, but maybe not enough, or certainly not what he would have liked.
Yeah, well, Young Power, definitely probably more time in there. He's on older tyres than Cookie Games, Facilio and Balliner, of course. Setting out on a lap extra. He'll also have time to get back into the pits and put some new set of tyres on. So Young Power, although he'll be a bit annoyed that he didn't get the quickest time, there's more time to find, I am sure. But Balliner has now started his lap again. He's gone purple through sector 1, and he is up through sector 1, but it's very close between the top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, Balliner now coming up towards the hairpin, and he locks up again on the left front. Do expect that, folks. It's a very tight corner, and actually these hairpins, especially when they come into the heavy braking zones, when you apply the brakes at the force that they are, it's certainly not a surprise to see the tyres smoke up a little bit. The heat that's generated through the brake discs, naturally, it's a simple reaction at the end of the day, as now we witness the Alfa Romeo going wide, and is that an invalidation there, Sam? Because he did cross the line there slightly. I think he's okay, though. It looks all right to me. Facilio currently in P2. Cookie Game still on top. Balliner still trying to make his way around the next left-hander. Ash Best moving up into P5. Great news for Alfa Romeo, that is, as Balliner now runs around the Casio Triangle chicane on the outset now, powering through out of turn 18. Can he go quicker again? No, I think he did invalidate, Sam. Can you confirm?
Yep, he did invalidate off the exit, that corner slightly a bit wide where you
Cohen.
can, and oh my goodness, Cohen, out of nowhere.
Cohen with a 125.227, and that topples Cookie Games off the top spot. A familiar looking face here at the top end, certainly with the Black Arrow livery of the Mercedes, toppling the Ferrari. How often have we seen that through the years? Amazing stuff indeed. And donning the helmet of Michael Schumacher, Cohen strikes the top end with a 125.227. Cookie Games now relegated to P2 for the Ferrari fans certainly will be very happy to see their car back on the front row of the grid. They couldn't see it at Monza, where of course he was on the front row, just could not generate it into a positive circulation of points. But on this occasion, he'll get another shot should this stay the way it is here with 3 minutes left to go. Fusilio back in the pits. Ash Best is still out on track. You'd fathom that they will head out on another lap. We've got a couple of other guys still out and about. Dynastics is about to start his fast lap as well. But a great showing from Cohen, who has had to really put up with his teammate Midnight all season. But naturally, with him gone, it's Cohen's responsibility to start digging up the points now, Sam.
I mean, is it too late to claim that Midnight could possibly be on Cohen's account? No. Of course it isn't. Cohen, brilliant performance there so far in qualifying. It's not over yet, but of course he's the top dog at the moment. He is the guy to beat, and Cohen is one of these drivers this season that it has been a dark horse to win in multiple rounds. He has been up there quite often, just not probably had the luck, and he has been consistently in the points as well. And I do think, kind of like Matthew, of course, probably does deserve a podium at least, of course, for being quite good. And he's actually retired, so there's no more laps for Cohen, as we all will see the final laps for every single driver here. And only one still left in the pits, that's Facilio. He's leaving it very late.
He is indeed. He's just leaving the pit lane now. Balliner's out on an out lap, and naturally you'd expect him. Certainly remember, folks, purple in the first sector when he was on that previous lap, until he invalidated heading around the Degner bend, and naturally that's not going to help. And, well, sorry, should I say coming out Spoon Curve, but he's now making his way down the stretch. Very soon it'll be 130R for this Alfa Romeo. And you can count on Ballina, who's going to look to try and sway this into his fortune, certainly. And I want to hear your comments, folks. Please leave in the comments who you think is going to be on pole position come the end of qualifying. We've got just over a minute left here in the session. And naturally, this is where things start to turn, as now we see Ballina coming under the Pirelli banner now, the start-finish line now erupts as the Alfa Romeo now cruises down towards the first corner here at turn 1 and jets his way through as we now ride on board with that Alfa Romeo coming up through now towards the snake section. Needs to prime the car up, looking good, very slick indeed here from that man Ballina. Legend retires from the session. Ballina now trying to cruise through, and very shortly he'll break through sector 1, heads up through Dunlop now, and on the outset heading up towards the first of the Degners as he makes his way around towards it, wants to jet the car through, really attacks the corners as he comes through the second Degner now under the Fanatec banner once again. Yellow flags are being raised here, back green now as he heads up towards the hairpin. Will he lock up again? He certainly does. That hairpin, no surprise to see the tyres smoking as he comes through that bend indeed. Round 200R now. And nice blue sky here, sunshine across the track, no fears of rain here in qualifying as Ballina now round Spoon Curve on the inset. Probably did not hug the inside as much he would have liked, but he's looking very smooth indeed and a lot better than his previous lap as he now comes out here in sector 2, rushing down towards what will be 130R, and as he does so, wants to try and prime the car now for the Casio Triangle Chicane. The ever treacherous, the ever tricky. You need to make sure you time this to perfection. And another lock up there on the right-hand side. Comes round the final bend now at turn 18. Can Ballina do what he's done all season? He does! A 125.151! Under a tenth of a second, and that could be enough. But there's still plenty of cars to cross the line, Sam.
Yeah, brilliant lap from Ballina. The second sector, he didn't really improve on too much, but the first sector really won him that lap. A very good lap from him. Cornet go in second place. He's not been able to beat Ballina, but in a position you would expect considering the championship. Watch out for Cookie Games. He's coming through the final corners now. That's not an invalidation. He's actually got away with that one. I was expecting that, but here he comes across the line. Oh, he snatched it. He snatched it from Ballina. He's on pole position. Cookie Games at the moment. There's still people coming towards the line, and there's still people improving though.
Yeah, Ballina has been relegated to the second row. Young Power has managed to push his car onto the front row of the grid now into P2 behind Cookie Games. Another exceptional qualifying performance from the Ferrari is now Facilio, who's really shocked the world already. Moves up to P2 ahead of his teammate there. And just under, I think it was 0.005 of a second, the difference between Facilio and Young Power. That is exceptional. In fact, I think that's more like 0.05, folks. And that is the end of qualifying. Cookie Games has done it again. He's on pole position. What a qualifier he really is. Now he just needs to put it together in the race, Sam. Unreal stuff indeed. He's on top spot in the Ferrari. A 125.126. Enough to take pole position. Facilio, front row of the grid, joins the Ferrari as well on the front row in P2 at 125.135 is the time that he set. Young Power in P3. Ballina, the championship leader, down in P4, the second row. Cornet in P5, Co in P6. Ash Best in P7, Santeri in P8, Faris Racing P9, Dino P10, Legend P11, Jory P12, Meteor P13, Lars Kramer P14, Benny P15, 16 for CC Brain, Rudy P17, Simon P18, Dynastics P19, Messina Rakeen in P20, of course, name changer, but phenomenal qualifying session towards the end. The times were flying all over the place at the end there, Sam. Cookie Games, though, once again proving how good he is in qualifying circumstances.
Yeah, he definitely has, and he is ready for a good result, and he finally needs it. And this is a track that actually doesn't actually have much overtaking. It is an iconic circuit in F1, but the overtaking at this track is very difficult, and there's not many places for you to get it. So he's actually got that to his advantage. But let's not distract ourselves away from pit stops exist, undercuts or overcuts exist, and how close that top six were. A tenth separating all six of them in that top six. And well, with Ballina's performances that he showed a little bit earlier today, he is the favourite to win this race. Has that fourth place though completely put that nail in the coffin for him? We'll find out in this race. We've only got 10 seconds till the formation lap starts.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, folks, we want to hear from you. Give us your comments. I have to say, it's absolutely mind-blowing. We love the racing here at World Online Racing. It gets better and better. Remember, we're only here to make you go, folks. Please come and hit up the live chat. I can already see Andrea Zanetti saying, go Fusilio. We've also got Luke Humphreys saying, insane quali, very close. It certainly was. Nicolo Longo, Communista say, Fusilio, go, go. Another support there for Fusilio. He's bringing an army of support here today. And we're looking forward to seeing how he gets on, of course. Please hit up who you think is going to take the Japanese Grand Prix here tonight, folks. I want to see your comments in the chat. Who is your P1 tonight? And we'll read out your comments now. I believe they're about to make their way out on the formation lap. Sam, your perspective, who do you think has got it within them to win tonight?
Well, looking at Cookie Games, he's got pole position. I think he's got it, the win in the bag tonight. He really, really deserves it, really, of the last couple of performances. And I think this is the one to really get that victory. And I think, actually, Young Power will probably jump his teammate Fusilio. But Fusilio does look very quick as well. So I think that's going to be my top three. And, I mean, Ballina was the favourite to start into. I think he won't even finish fourth. I think Cornet will end up getting past Ballina. I think Ballina will struggle a little bit in this race. And I do think Cornet could get past. So that is really a top five. But the podium, Cookie Games to win. Young Power second, Fusilio third.
Well, that's interesting. That's insight there from Sam Thompson, of course. But I want to hear from you, folks. I can already see the comments jetting through. Nicola Longo is going for Young Power win tonight. He could well do. He picked up a win last week at Monza. And looking there as well, Simo Pez, Fusilio. That is where the support's going. A lot of support there for that man as well. We got some comments here. Chin Texa saying Vi ex Bellina. I'm not sure whether that means he's going for Bellina for this one as well. So some support for VRT Bellina as well. So we'll wait and see. Bellina's actually been disqualified from the session. Contact there with Young Power on that occasion. So that may hamper them in terms of tyre temperature. Of course, the formation lap very useful in order for these tyres to get warmed up. And quite a few disqualifications, in fact. The two Williamses both have been moved to the grid, of course. That's Dynastics and Messina Rakeen, of course, known as Shizou Name Changer. As we now watch all these cars now make their way up towards the grid. And I've got to say, how vital is it to get a good start and take the lead into turn one, Sam?
It is very vital because obviously it is definitely all about that first corner. This first lap overtaking is very, very scarce here. There's not much overtaking, and that first corner will be very, very important indeed.
Yeah, here we go, folks. We're about to start this illustrious Grand Prix, the Japanese Grand Prix. Please leave a like and subscribe as well. It's going to be a corker. Second light, third light, fourth light, the fifth light! And it's pedal to the metal. Go, 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 go. Cookie Games got away well, but Fusilio with the pace. A phenomenal start there for the Haas. Goes toe-to-toe there with Cookie Games. The McLaren of Cornet up in a P3. What a start for that man. Santeri moving his way through the field as well. Battling with Bellina, who's relegated down to P6. A horrendous start from VRT Bellina. Ash bested behind him his teammate. Cohen down in P8. Dino moves up to P9. The Ferrari looking good. The two racing points in P10 and 11, but what a start across the grid. Fusilio very nearly snatching the lead, but what about Cornet? P3 from the get-go. What a start here, Sam.
We talked about that disqualification from Young Power and Ballina on that formation lap. That contact between them has cost them dearly, hasn't it? Cornet up to third place now, and he looked very quick off the line, did the McLaren driver, but Young Power down to fourth. He's kept himself somewhat in the fight, but Ballina going almost down to seventh place there. Ashbest was looking on his teammate, but just kind of backed out. But Cohen as well has dropped down a couple positions. So everyone moving on this first lap, and that start was quite incredible, wasn't it, with Fusilio almost taking the lead from Cookie Games.
Yeah, we got an extremely insane exchange happening here. Faris Racing coming to blows with with Legend. With Joey locked in behind the Red Bull, splitting the two racing points as they come down now into the Casio Triangle chicane, and they're all still in tandem. What a phenomenal start to this Grand Prix. Action-packed from the get-go as they now round the final corner at turn 18. We've got some moves being made ahead. Dino now looking to come to blows here with Cohen. The Mercedes and the Ferrari once again in tandem, but Cohen on top remains in P6. Dido down in P7. Ferris Racing in P8. Joe Ree in behind. Lars Kramer up in a P10. Legend, I'm not sure what happened to him. He's down in P15. Belina and Ash Best, who are down in P13 and 14. A real terrible start here from Belina. It's all fallen apart at the seams. The championship leader is not having a great time right now. Terrible timing here. Certainly, in fact, that might be my timing tower being messed up, folks. I do apologise. Absolute extraordinary scenes here. Do apologise. We've had an issue with the classification leaderboard, but Cookie Games is on top. Vasilio there in P2. Belina still holding on to P6. The Racing Points coming to blows. Seabrain now going wheel to wheel with Jory on the outside of the hairpin bend as they round 200R. Now is Seabrain looking to try and land a blow here on the Racing Point. Certainly looking to split him here. The AlphaTauri going in deep, still holding on wheel to wheel as they round Spoon Curve and still in behind Jory, trying to hang on, but it's the AlphaTauri. CC Brain, what courage, dedication, a graduous move. The AlphaTauri in P12. Phenomenal stuff, Sam.
Good stuff there. Brilliant battle between the both of them, but CC Brain coming out on top, and on those medium tyres as well, which may for some people be a little bit more difficult to overtake, as of course you've got less grip on those tyres. So CC Brain really showing some good racecraft right there, and Jory as well. He is behind CC Brain, but he has edited.
Belina up into P5. He's overtaken Santeri. His movements across the track here, folks. Belina knows he needs to get to work naturally, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. Great move, certainly here from that man in the Alfa Romeo. Needed to try and strike an in position on this top 5. He is now within it now. He's looking extremely strong. Needs to hold on, though. He has got Young Power ahead of him. His VRT stablemate in P4. In the Haas, of course, his teammate Vasilio up in P2. Ash Best, the Alfa Romeo teammate as well, down in P7, has got Santeri locked in his sights as they come up towards the hairpin bend. They all seem to have calmed down now. They've all just fixed themselves in their relative positions. Amazing start. They're only in lap 3 of 27. Just think, we've got another 24 laps of this, Sam.
Yeah, and with Ballina looking to be pushing past Santeri there quite easily, has got away as well. He must be absolutely furious after that start. Probably the start he wouldn't have wanted. He probably would have been planning to come upwards, but he actually went downwards. Cornet, though, he looks comfortable in third place. He was behind both Ballina and Young Power before, but he looks quite comfortable. Is that Jory round? It is. What has happened to Jory? Has he had something with Lars Kramer, perhaps?
I think he could have done. He's down at the back of the grid now. The Racing Point, not ideal at all. But we can't take our eyes off what's going on at the top end. Naturally, Young Power, who did briefly have the fastest lap, has been taken now by VRT Belina with a 129.627. And amazing stuff indeed. Round the next right-hander. And we're now watching Ash Best as he locks eyes here with VRT Santeri, who has obviously been relegated down to P6 now, thanks to Ash Best's teammate, VRT Ballina, who's up in P5. Further ahead, Young Power, who is trying to tug on the rear end of Cornet as well. Those two have come to blows a couple of times already this season. Cornet, after an illustrious start up into P3. Young Power in P4. Jory has been given a 3-second time penalty, and that's a huge blow. And certainly the race is falling apart at the seams here for him. Santeri running a little bit wide there, and that might open the door here for Ash Best as Young Power takes a diving move here on Cornet, at least trying to unsettle that of the man in the McLaren as things got a little bit risky heading around the hairpin bend. And naturally, Young Power not content with staying in P4 right now as they rush round Spoon Curve. The man in the Haas is looking all kinds of danger right now as they head out to the corner now, out of the hairpin bend at Spoon, heading down towards the 130R. Cornet seems to have resettled himself back in P3, and plenty of ERS in the gunnels here for Young Power. Remember, we've got DRS, folks, so there might be an opportunity here for the Haas man. Certainly that man, Young Power, will unleash the power here at Japan. And naturally, the way things have stood out right now, he looks like a great prospect for it. Ferris Racing with a 3-second time penalty as well. That's not going to be ideal for him as they rush down towards turn 1 yet again. Phenomenal scenes as Ash Best now getting closer and closer to Santeri. No option for a move just yet as they round turn 1, but phenomenal scenes as Mathieu gets the fastest lap here, Sam. It's pandemonium already here at Suzuka.
Yeah, and this top 7 has cleared off away from the rest. Cohen, 1.6 seconds behind Ash Best. I wonder if Cohen picked up a little bit of damage because he was fighting a little bit with Ash Best at the start as Jory decides to retire in the pits, basically giving up. Not to be rude to him, of course. I mean, it hasn't been the greatest of races for him, but Ash Best on the back of his training, this is going to be really awkward for the drivers now. They're all going to basically be following each other, but obviously Power, I think, has probably been looking for a move again on Cornet, but Cornet braking much later has obviously kept him well in front of the Haas driver. So a lot really going on as we got a VSC now. That is Lars Kramer, I think, has gone into the wall. So perhaps not driving the best, is he, Lars Kramer, here tonight?
No, he's certainly not having a great race here today, Sam. And naturally, that's put him at the back of the grid. He's got no front wing. He's just pitted onto fresh hard tyres as well, so his strategy is pretty much kaput now. He's got to go back into the box to put another front wing on. He's already nearly enough a lap behind everybody else as Cookie Games now comes through the final chicane at Casio Triangle, and they're back underway. DRS has straight away been enabled here, so we might yet see another little bit of movement at the top as we now watch Cookie Games cascade down towards turn 1. And naturally, as things are now all banded out, Facilio still down in P2, still within the second gap, maintaining it well right now. Lars Kramer gets a 3-second time penalty, probably insult to injury at this point, as we have a yellow flag once again in Sector 2. So Cookie Games now is starting to verge up on Lars Kramer here, and you would not be surprised if he catches up with the soon-to-be lapped car as well, as in around the next left-hander heading up towards the Degners. Facilio trying to stay in tow of this Ferrari, but Cookie Games seems keen, Sam, to try and break away from the pack, because he seems to be really pushing here, and he certainly is, using some of his ERS, but he's still got plenty in the tank.
Yeah, he seems to have got a good restart then from the virtual safety car, as Facilio probably a little bit more asleep than what Cookie Games was. Perhaps Cornet as well was quite close to Facilio as well, but the gaps will continue to close down, I reckon. Facilio just about keeping in that DRS, but one small mistake and that could leave him a victim to Cornet, who would be actually looking to get past Facilio, I would say, with Power, of course, showing that he's quite threatening in this race, as Lars now finally retiring, and that's another VSC because he didn't make it to the pits, it don't look like.
No, it doesn't look like at all. We got another VSC, folks, as Sam said, as they head around the final line. Cookie Games boxes straight away. Interesting tactic here from Ferrari, and he's not alone. Facilio's come in. Oh, a double stack here for Haas. That is not ideal. Facilio's going to be the first man in the box, and in behind him, Young Power is going to be stacking here, and that might have upset the chances here for Young Power. Just look at that. He's got to wait now for Facilio, and that's going to cost a lot of places for Young Power. Cornet goes ahead of him as well, and so does Santieri. Cohen comes out as well. That's cascaded him right down the order. Not ideal at all. Dino's gone ahead. Legend's gone ahead. That is absolutely crucial for Haas. Though Facilio was boxed, he's still in the race. Don't forget, though, Young Power has now got to fight through the rest of this field, and that has really upset his strategy, Sam.
Yeah, a bit of a miscommunication there from Haas. It looks like a Young Power moving behind Dino, Legend, Cohen, Santieri. Drivers he wouldn't want to be behind. Drivers that he has shown so far he's quicker than. So Dino also on the medium tyres as well as Young Power compared to the hard tyres in front of him. So he is going to be much quicker than Dino. So he will dispatch him very quickly, I would have thought.
Yeah, he's right behind him, heading around the second Degnet, and just look at this. I'm sure he'll have an opportunity up towards the hairpin, and you can see he's not messing around here. You can see he's right in the rear wing as he dives down the inside, and Young Power once again with a phenomenal move and gets it done. He needed to do it, and he's done it once again. 200R next, and you can see the Legend is right in front of him here. He needs to bring down that delta time ASAP. 1.5 seconds the difference between him and Legend right now. The Racing Point holding on to that 14th place, of course. Racing Point currently one-legged in this race, given the fact that Jory has DNF'd from this race, of course, as they now make their way down towards the 130R once again. Matthew going for that move here on CC Brain and gets it done, heads into P2. The Renault strikes as Ash Best leads the way in P1 on lap 8 of 27. There you can see further down Cookie Games, 4.5 seconds the delta from Rudy as well. Dynastics is in P6. Now the way things are strung out right now, by the looks of it, Ballina, needs to try and move up on Cornet, but he's on fresher hard tyres, so he can go a little bit longer than that man in the McLaren. So as soon as those mediums die off, Ballina looks to be a real threat here.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if those medium tyres can make it to the end from lap 7. I think that's going to be a bit of a tricky one. I wonder if there's perhaps been a little bit of a mistake from these guys, potentially, thinking it's a safety car other than a VSC. I'm not sure how long these medium tyres can last, but I think at 20 laps they are going to look very, very poor indeed. So Ballina perhaps going for the long run here. He's going to be closing in slowly on Cornet, perhaps for now, just sailing really where he is. He hasn't got any pressure behind him. Santeri still outside the DRS. So Ballina at the moment all on his own, and he's just going to be patiently sitting there waiting for those medium tyres to die, it looks like.
Yeah, look who's back again. Young Power, who's really pushing for all he's worth. Currently on the medium tyres. Closing on Legend, though. And he's only 0.6 of a second away. And look, it's closing all the time. The Delta cascading downwards, folks. And that is the story here in Japan. He might get a chance here. Heading into the Casio Triangle chicane as they make their way down. Mathieu sets the fastest lap with a 129.1. And you bet your money on the fact as Young Power gets so close to the rear wing there of Legend. As they come out of turn 18 now. Young Power looking to unleash it here. Heading down the stretch now with DRS open. Oh, it's so easy. Takes the inside line next to the paddock. The Haas booms past heading into turn 1. Excellent. Brilliant. Young Power up into P14. He was left further down the grid after a stacking situation, but the Haas is powering through. Young Power, as I said last week, unleashes the power. He's up into P14 now, chasing Cohen after overtaking Legend. Superb overtake, Sam.
Yeah, this will be an incredible recovery drive if he can get it. If he can get the win here today, that would be incredible in my opinion. Probably one of the best results, best drives a driver has done in a long time that I have seen anyway. But Young Power has now got the big task. He's got to catch up to someone on the same tyre as him, and Cohen ahead of him should be capable, but should be much slower than the two previous drivers that he's had to pass. But at the moment, not too much going on, but I do expect Ashbest to pit very, very soon. Those soft tyres are continuing to die.
Yeah, absolutely right. Cornet now making his way down towards 130R, and he's getting closer and closer to Facilio as well. And these two certainly have come to blows already in the formation of this race. Remember, it was all happening at the start of the Grand Prix. And Cornet, if anything, looks like the dangerous prospect as they come out of turn 18. He's so close to the back of the Haas now. And literally moments away, DRS open. Facilio, though, has it on Cookie Games as they make their way down towards turn 1. And that's a testament to the pace here of Young Power, who just sets the fastest lap as well. So he is on a real charge right now. He's trying to close on Cohen, who has also got medium tyres on. As Faris Racing overtakes TTG Benny to move up into P17. Both have penalties and currently in a race of their own at the moment. Down at the back. Ashbest, though, still on top. He's unable to shake Mathieu, though. Those soft tyres must be dying off now, Sam, as Mathieu seems to be getting closer and closer within the Delta gap. This is for the current lead of the race, of course. Mathieu, who's obviously a very tricky customer as well on his day, will have every chance now to land a hammer blow upon the Alfa Romeo as they come up now towards that next left-hander entering Spoon Curve. Heading on the outset once again here in lap 10 of 27. Ashbest in the Alfa Romeo, still holding firm, holding on by the skin of his teeth. Still in behind, you've got 5.5 tenths of a second. The delta between him and Mathieu right now, and it keeps closing all the time now. Obviously, this illustrious straight here at Suzuka, certainly as they round 130R, if you can apply the power, the energy, of course, in the car. There's another lockup there from Ashbest, and that brings that Renault ever closer as they power out. Ashbest boxes into the pit lane as well. Mathieu now, your current leader of the race. CC Brain as well, in behind, looking to close up all the time in the AlphaTauri. Masira Keen as well, up into P3. Simon is there as well in P4, and looking further down, Cookie Games. He's about to go ahead now of Ashbest. He's trying to get closer and closer. Cookie Games, your net race leader. Facilio in P2, Cornet in P9, or net P3. Ballina right in behind him here. Ballina, you've got to say, certainly is, Sam. He is certainly, in my eyes, hot favourite from a strategy sense.
Yeah, he's definitely closing in on Cornet, but he's got pressure from Santeri behind him. I reckon Santeri will probably be looking for a move very soon, but I'm pretty sure he'll be a little bit more relaxed because obviously they're both in VRT, so it's not obviously going to be one's going to swipe the other out, perhaps, as you may get with perhaps another driver who perhaps is looking for something a bit more as Rudy goes down the inside of Dynastics. Dynastics seems to not have the pace today, it don't look like, as he slots in behind Rudy, who I believe did also have a spin. So He's coming back very nicely indeed. And look who's at the back of him. Cookie Games as well in P7. And these guys are going to get caught up with a bit of traffic, it looks like now.
Yeah, it certainly will. Cornet getting closer and closer all the time to Facilio. A little mistake, though, a little shake as they make their way out now. Cookie Games looking to try and overtake Dynastics, and he does so, and this is for P6 on track, of course. The net race leader squeezes through, heading down now towards the Casio Triangle chicane. He's got Rudy dead ahead of him. This is for P5. The Ferrari blazing red, looking to blaze ahead once again. DRS opens up. He can see the Mercedes. Rudy weaving, trying to break the slipstream, but it's not going to happen. Too little, too late. It's P5 all the time. Cookie Games up into P5, showing that electric pace we saw in qualifying. He is now up at yet another spot. 2 cars separate him from net P2 as well, so he's got a nice cushion. He can focus, breaking away from Facilio as well, and he's got plenty of ERS to do it, Sam.
Yeah, and how crucial is that? Facilio caught behind the 2 back markers in Rudy and Dynastics. Dynastics as well doesn't look too favourable today, and he does look like he's cost Facilio a lot of time. Cookie Games is just disappearing into the sunset. Facilio must get past Dynastics quite fair soon, but again, not going to happen. He's slightly blocking him now at this point, and Facilio still stuck behind. This is going to be infuriating, isn't it, for Facilio?
It certainly is. He's just trying to track every move Dynastics makes. The Williams is causing a little bit of a nuisance of himself now as they round spoon curve, heading on the outset in behind, and all this is allowing Cornet in to maybe have a look down towards the 130R, and you might fancy him to do it here if he stays within the slipstream. Facilio having to use some of his energy store in order to try and regroup on Dynastics as they come down now towards the Casio Triangle chicane. Will it be a late brake maneuver heading into that bend? Not this time. He's going to be patient. You'll have a chance though, heading down the main start finish straight as they come on the outset past the paddock. Facilio looking to light things up again here with the overtake on. He's going for it. Look at him, a menace, looking to pounce on P7. Facilio down the inside, brilliant wheel to wheel action. Dynastics trying to hold him off. He does so. What defending from Dynastics. It looked all said and done, but he said no to Facilio, and he stays in P7. Facilio down in P8. Cornet watching all this unfold. He must be waiting for the opportune moment, because surely this is going to create havoc in this Grand Prix.
Yeah, but look who's behind them though. Cornet as well, very close, and obviously Ballina as well on those hard tyres. Now within this DRS, this is exactly what he would have wanted down in 10th place. Although Cookie Games may have got clear for now, those tyres are not going to last forever, those medium tyres are. So Ballina at the moment is in a very strong position, at least for a podium. He should be quite clear potentially of getting one, but Facilio's just caught behind Dynastics. Dynastics falling off all the time, and Facilio just stuck behind this Williams. And I said before the race started, George, how difficult it was to overtake at this track, and it's proven difficult for Facilio, and particularly also probably Cornet and Ballina as well. As Facilio this time, has he got him around the outside? That's a beautiful move from the Haas there. Dynastics now probably going to start losing some places.
Yeah, but how much wear has that cost him on those tyres? Facilio in a very treacherous point now. He's got Rudy ahead of him, and Dynastics is not going away. Remember, he'll have DRS, and he's got the overtake on. He still wants to try and attack Facilio as they head down towards turn 1, but not this time. He will not generate the speed, though. He does push it into turn 1. Dynastics still relentless, looking to fight it out on track here as they wind their way through. Ash Best goes ahead, or battles with Legend, at least for now, and Ash Best still wheel to wheel with the racing point as they head through the snake section and gets it done. Superb move there by Ash Best to hold on. Ballina now though trying to fight here on Cornet, and you can guarantee his tyres are going to be feeling rosy and certainly a lot better than what Cornet's are right now. A very flash in the pan move from the Degners, getting closer and closer to the back of the McLaren now as they head up towards the hairpin bend, and once again Dynastics holding back the pace of these cars now. And look at this, we've lost a car. Faris Racing is out of the race. TTG Benny out as well, Sam.
Yeah, and Ballina went for it. He went for the move, and there's a safety car all of a sudden. So he actually went for a move down the inside, did Ballina. I don't think he would have got it, but I think the safety car has played a part to why he didn't get it. But safety car, I tell you what, this is quite interesting now, because all these guys ahead can definitely pit and get into a good position. But I wonder if the medium tyre drivers of Cornet, etc., may gamble here. I wonder if they may gamble going to the softs. It'll be very, very big gamble if they do. But obviously then you got the big reward potentially in the end with Ballina on his hard tyres, secure to make it to the end. I'm not sure if these medium tyres can make it to the end. By the suggestion of everyone staying out, they most likely can. And, well, to be fair, with the safety car, it looks pretty likely they will now. But interestingly, though, Matthew, look where he comes out. Watch out for him. He's P7. He's P7 on the soft tyres as well. Maybe a bit of a premature pit stop, but if he can get the overtakes done, potentially we could be seeing Matthew on the top step of the podium here.
I think we could though, Sam, because they're going to be under the safety car ruling now for at least 2 laps, so that will bring it into lap 17 should the safety car box in that time. Therefore, that's 10 laps on soft tyres. That is achievable. Remember, we saw on the first stint plenty of drivers getting up to 9 or 10 laps on this compound. Plenty of them have boxed as well. CC Brain in the mix, Messina Rakeen, they're all queuing up here in behind. Young Power's gone for it as well. But bear in mind, he's going to have to try and dodge the traffic of several soft tyre runners. But Matthew, who took the longest stint, led from those who last completed pit stops before the safety car. This has brought him straight into this race, and he is a very quick driver as well, currently occupying the higher ends of the championship, P7 at the moment in the driver's standing. So this could be a huge opportunity now for Matthew, now that he's on fresh softs. He can apply that train now against those on very reasonably worn medium tyres. They're scrub mediums, albeit, remember, because they're under safety car ruling, that will reduce the wear on the mediums. Therefore, that may help Cookie Games. But key man to watch now is, of course, that man Matthew. Also, don't forget Ballina now. Also being conserved on his tyres. Those hards will go a little bit longer, and naturally, you'd still expect those mediums to maybe die off in around 15 laps, I would say, or so. So keep an eye on those. I think coming down towards the final, certainly the final couple of laps, those mediums are going to be feeling a little bit treacherous. Ballina still very much in this race, but also you can't count off Matthew. I think he's going to be the one to watch.
Yeah, most certainly he'll need to get that move on Cohen done pretty quickly if he's going to look for a chance of winning this race. But Ballina, again, he is one to watch as well on those hard tyres. They will definitely not be as quick as what Matthew will have on those soft tyres. Definitely not, but as those medium tyres will continue to wear towards the end of this race, the soft tyres will eventually probably become more worn and slower than the hard tyres as well. So Ballina at the moment, if he can get the overtakes done, he puts himself in a bit more security. If Matthew could get the overtakes done, he also has the same sort of thing. So both of them, they do have a job to do, and I tell you what, it's not going to be an easy one. They do depend on tyre grip, and Matthew should definitely have that. Ballina possibly could have that in a lap or two after the safety car has come in.
Certainly will. And there's Matthew now. He's keeping those tyres warm. And there you can see Cohen in front of him here. Of course, Cohen still in with a chance, but as everyone is, I think, at this stage. Obviously, this safety car is very perplexing. It's come out at a very interesting time and an interesting point in the race. Obviously, the mediums now are at their peak. And, of course, the hards will be feeling pretty good as well. So, naturally, Ballina in with still a grandiose chance. Of course, we did speak about this earlier. Given the fact that he can now go on the longer, what you would expect to get to the end on hard tyres, this puts him in a very good position. In behind as well, Matthew, who, of course, on the softer tyres, can easily run through a lot of this field. I mean, I tell you what, the way things are strung out, Sam, he could easily find himself fighting for the top end in the next couple of laps. I mean, I have to say, it's going to be hard for them to keep this man off their rear end. Naturally, Matthew, fast driver as it is, put him on soft tyres, fresh soft, should I say, against those on mediums and hards that have been reasonably well worn, that this is going to create a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, Matthew should have a good opportunity as long as he hasn't completely hasn't really ruined his tyres on not the formation lap, the safety car laps, which shouldn't obviously be the case, but it's a possibility. I wonder if safety car is coming in this lap. Cookie Games is just seeming to back up the field. I don't think we have got the message though just yet of that, but look who else also boxed for soft tyres, as there we go, there's the message. But Young Power and Ashbest, so those two could be ones to watch. They look very quick obviously in this race, so yeah, watch out for them. They're behind Rudy and Dynastics.
Yeah, they're just about to get ready for the getaway, and Cookie Games as well in P1 with Facilio, who's getting really close to the rear end of that Ferrari. He does not want to let this man get away again as they come wheel to wheel now, cascading out of the final bends now, and a little slip there from Corny as we hit pedal to the metal for the second time in this Grand Prix, cascading down towards turn 1 yet again. Matthew already from the get-go looking extremely quick on the rear end of Cohen as they come down towards turn 1. Still Cookie Games leads, and look at that, the traction in the corners really helping Matthew now as they exit out of turn 1, heading through the next snake section now, heading up through turns 2, 3, 4 and 5. Cohen still on top, making his way through in P6. There you can see Matthew down in P7, just eyeing him up all over at this moment of track as they round Dunlop Curve, heading down towards the Degners. Cookie Games on top, Santieri trying to gain on Ballina now, who's currently in P4 on the, well, certainly in this race classification as they come on the outset now. Chance here for Matthew, he wants to utilise the softs while he can, breaking into the hairpin bend, a little touch there in the rear as they come on the outside out of the hairpin bend. 200R beckons, he'll open the door now, go for the move as they round the next right-hander. Cohen trying to block him off, needs to do so, needs him to use those softs as they come round Spoon. He still can't get it done, Sam. It's nose to tail action here as they come out of Spoon Curve.
Owen defending absolutely brilliant there, making sure that Metsu is not comfortable with any moves. However, I think we're just about to get one. He's used a lot of overtake to catch up to Cohen. Slipstream will help as well. Here we go, right on the back. He goes to the outside. This is going to be a really good move if he does it. And Cohen's still in there, but the inside line this time should be Metsu by. And yes, we are P6 for Metsu, but he's lost a lot of time battling the Mercedes, and the Mercedes is just about to lose another position to CC Brain, who might actually also be a factor in this race for this point.
Yeah, the soft tyres really coming alive already in this race. Metsu up into P6. He's now going to try and chase on Santieri, but look at CC Brain managing to overtake Cohen down the straight as well, utilising those soft tyres. And look who else is doing it as well, Messina Rakeen, who's straight back into this race for Williams as well in P9. They're all scrapping it out for points here today as they come up now, up through the Dunlop Curve. Still no change at the top end. Cookie Games still holding on to P1. Facilio in P2. Cornet still in mind as well with Ballina all over his rear end as they head up now towards the hairpin bend. Ballina, is he going to go for a late break? He does! A dive bomb! Ballina, the championship leader, shows exactly why he's that. He went for it, he gambled, he took the position. Amazing! Young Power moves up to P10 as well. A cluster in the back now as Cohen comes out. Look at it! Here comes the Mercedes as well in mind of Rudy as they come up now towards the Spoon Curve. Simon hangs on, wheel-to-wheel action, cutting through the middle. Oh my word, collisions on the track. They all come off, end plates go flying. Somehow, no damage to the front ring of Rudy, but of course Dynastics loses an end plate. Seeds here as Messina Rakeen snatches that position off Cohen, who immediately tries to fight back, but it's not enough. Messina Rakeen up into P8. Drama here in the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah, I don't know who was at fault there. I think Legends Gone By is gone round as well, but I think Simon just closed the door there on Rudy, which is a little bit naughty from him, of course, which just caught out Rudy and obviously clipped Dynastics. Very unlucky. I don't know what happened to Legend though. He just was spinning around, but he's retired in the pit lane. Very unhappy with that one, but Cohen moving back on those medium tyres, and he may move back another position. Here comes Jump Power, very close behind, but Ballina's move, crucial move in this race, and could really potentially play out very positive for him.
It certainly will do. Young Power now very quick, and certainly finding a lot of time here on those softs against those mediums, those well-worn mediums of Cohen as well. Cohen has got penalties as well to his name, so that's not going to help him now. Is Young Power wonderful, brilliant, heading around that hairpin bend, left it late, but he certainly had no qualms about making a move like that. That's absolutely extraordinary, but brilliant nonetheless, utilising the softs, and that just goes to show the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing stuff indeed. Santieri now at the mercy here of CC Brain, but look who's ahead of him. He's got Matthew who's just overtaken him. They're so close at this moment in time, just over 0.2 of a second. He might actually get a run here on Matthew, and he hasn't even unleashed the overtake yet as they come down towards the chicane. Wheel to wheel, nose to tail, Red Bull versus Renault, and indeed Matthew holds on with the last gasp there, and certainly now we're seeing these soft runners really come in to attack the top end now. Cornet still currently in P4, holding off the Renault charge as they make their way down the stretch past the paddock in behind. Santieri still going nose to nose. They're currently wheel to wheel now through turn 1. The Red Bull goes goes for the switchback. He can't find it. Matthew holds on there in P5. It gets so close in between these two. And all this is bringing CC Brain right into the fold there. He's right on the rear of the sister car of the Red Bull, the AlphaTauri, with all sorts of pace. Look at him pushing Santeri along as they come around the Dunlop curve. This is absolutely extraordinary racing here in the WOR PS4 Japanese Grand Prix. I hope you're all enjoying it here at home. It's absolutely sensational with the amount of movements we have here. Santeri in all sorts of trouble though. Here comes CC Brain, fresh and soft tyres, literally nose to tail between the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull. A move there from Young Power on Messina Rakin as they round 200R. Still wheel-to-wheel action, heading up towards Spoon Curve. Still Rakin holds on. Here comes Young Power. No move can be made. Great defending from Messina Rakin in what looked like a moment's doubt. But Sam, the action is in abundance right now. Phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, it seemed like a very desperate move for Young Power. I'm not sure if it was really on for him through that corner. He came from quite far back on Messina Rakin, and Messina Rakin defended it quite well as there goes CC Brain past Santeri. So these medium tyres are now starting to really go on these drivers, and perhaps for Ballina that is really good news. He will continue to close in on Facilio, but look at Facilio. He's used no ERS, way more than Cookie Games. He could be looking for a move very, very soon with a charging hard tyre Ballina, who will definitely have the pace towards the end of this race. He would definitely want to clear off on Cookie Games, if Cookie Games, of course, is a little bit of a bother. But I say that, but Ballina is closing in very, very quickly, but Cornet as well, and Matthew as well, right on the back of these drivers.
Yeah, and just think, Ballina's tyres must be feeling an awful lot better than those mediums right now, Sam. Is that the thoughts that maybe springing into your mind now, that maybe Ballina can really unleash the pace on his Alfa Romeo?
Well, he's got to get past Facilio. If he's got the opportunity, he must take it. If Facilio defends quite well against him, then we could be seeing something a bit different. There's a bit of action going on in the midfield as well. Young Power looking for the same move again on Messina Rakin. This time around the outside, it wouldn't work at that corner. And in fact, it wouldn't have worked because Messina Rakin was going for a move himself. So a little bit desperate now is Young Power again, trying to get past Messina Rakin in this massive train of cars, making it very difficult for overtakes. But is this Facilio's chance? Does he go for the move on Cookie Games? We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, but here comes Matthew now. He might go for a late break here in the chicane. He knows he's running out of time as he now goes for it in the Casio Triangle, but no access was enabled there for that man in the Renault, but he might get a chance out of turn 18 as they come down now past the paddock. Great opportunities here in abundance across this grid order. He enables the overtake. He has got nothing left though in terms of ERS as they come down now towards turn 1. Ballina just watching Facilio in front in P2. He is chasing all over Cookie Games right now. 5-second penalty to Dido, who is actually a DNF on this circuit now. Yellow flags in sector 3. Still no sign of a VSC or a safety car, so I'm guessing we're all good to continue as normal. Cookie Games though still leading the fray here, still in behind Facilio, in behind him, still chasing half a second back. Ballina as well, half a second back. Cornet in P4 as Ash Best now moves up into P11. Further down as well, Young Power still trying to move on to Messina Rakin. He's frustrated him quite a few times already through this race. Opportunity though. He goes for a move. Oh my word, that was bold and certainly not sensible to say the least. Young Power literally losing control of the car into the hairpin. It's cost him massively. He's lost his front wing. And of course, Santeri nearly getting removed in the process. Messina Rakin, who I've got to say, I think he can count himself a little bit lucky that he wasn't in contact. But all of this has shaken up Santeri. A formulative move now for Messina Rakin on soft tyres. He hasn't got any ERS though, so he cannot challenge. Cohen goes ahead of Young Power without any wing. They're going wheel to wheel, coming around the next left, and around the 130R. It's not enough. Young Power, a turbulent ending to this race, has now cascaded him down to P12, Sam.
Yeah, the silly mistake there from Young Power. Kind of a rookie mistake, really, to be honest. But the two Finns will not be very happy in Messina Rakin and Santeri. And actually, Young Power retires in the pits, so he is absolutely done with the day. But Santeri and Rakin have moved way behind CC Brain now, and they are all on their own. So Santeri is now going to be under pressure from the likes of Ashbest behind, and he is not going to be a happy driver, and neither is Messina Rakeen, who potentially could have been looking for a little bit of a higher result if he was still behind CC Brain. But all these soft tire drivers now starting to feel the wear on their tires. The only one that probably wouldn't right now would be Ballina, who is still in third place, and with this DRS train that doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. And Facilio, he has it all in the bank to use, and has it all in the bank to really keep himself ahead or behind. Keep himself ahead really of Ballina, and of course possibly attack Cookie Games this lap, which it looks like he's trying to close in to do so.
Yeah, and Ballin is also looking a little bit harum-scarum as well at the spoon curve, getting closer and closer to Facilio at this point in time here in lap 23 or 27. We're about to start lap 24 as they round 130R. Looking at this though, Mathieu getting closer and closer to Cornet. Opportunity now into the Casio Triangle. He opts not to. Stays in behind the McLaren now, heading on the outset of that chicane, heading round past the paddock once again to commence their lap 24. And the DRS opens up again. Overtake on here for Mathieu. He hasn't got anything left in the tank here as they come down towards turn 1. CC Brain looks more dangerous, takes the move on the outside. The Alpha Tauri going for it here, but still left frustrated because that man Mathieu defending to the hilt. He did the right thing. He blocked off the attack, but he's lacking in ERS, and that's certainly going to cost him a lot, Sam.
Yeah, it's going to cost him a bit of time though. CC Brain though, luckily these two are still stuck on the back of Cornet, which is quite impressive to be fair, but CC Brain definitely wanting to look to get past Mathieu now. He definitely sees a little bit of a gap in pace on the Renault, and how is he looking here? Not very good on the outside. Will Mathieu look to get a bit more desperate on Cornet very soon, I wonder? He has been quite conservative on the McLaren, but if he gets past now, that is basically his position done and dusted, probably for 4th place. But Ballina still looking very close, but he hasn't got anything to attack with compared to Facilio, who's got loads to attack with, and he will be definitely eyeing up a move on Cookie Games very soon indeed as well. So Ballina at the moment maybe a little bit doubtful now to win this race unless anything happens between the two leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to hear from you as well, folks at home. Please post in the live chat who has been your driver of the day here today in WOR, the PS4 Japanese Grand Prix. Please hit your comments in the live chat. We will read them out as we make our way towards the final stages of this Grand Prix. Cookie Games on top, at least for the time being. 2 laps remain here in this race. In behind you can see Mathieu now getting closer to Cornet once again, but without an ERS it's going to really cause him quite a few headaches. CC Brain as well has not left his rear end either. There's going to be a huge tussle towards the end. Ballina still fighting to try and maybe topple the top 2 in looking to get a race win here today. He is currently 3.5 tenths in behind Facilio, and he's surely going to look to open the door here as they make their way around the Dunlop curve. There you can see them heading up towards the Degnas now, into Degna 1 and Degna 2. Santeri picks up a 3-second time penalty as they come around Degna 2 now. Ballina finding a lot more traction on those hard tyres, might opt for a move here as they make their way down towards this next hairpin on the outset now, heading up towards 200R. Facilio still holding on to that P2, finding some sort of grip out of those medium tyres. There's not a lot there on the table as they make their way up towards the spoon curve. Still on top, Cookie Games, Facilio in P2, but watch out for Ballina. He's looking absolutely relentless here, Sam.
Yeah, they all are. Ashbest, his teammate, has just got past Santeri as well. Nice and easy move down the inside. Good respect from both of them. I wonder if Santeri is going to come back here, though. He has it definitely on the straights compared to Ashbest. In fact, it might be a bit too much where he's got to make the move here. Here he goes. Ashbest going defensive there. And Santeri is probably just going to sit behind, but did Ashbest really need to go defense? Okay, yeah, he kind of did, because the detection point is a little earlier than what I expected. So Ashbest kind of gets away with that then, and obviously he didn't want Santeri to go by, but Santeri is definitely coming back though. Is he going to look from the inside? No, he's going to just sit behind for now, but watch Facilio now. This is the lap where he's probably going to strike it really on Cookie Games at the end of this lap. He needs to set himself up good though, and Ballina as well. Look how close this man is. These medium tyres really starting to go. Is Ballina going to send it into the hairpin here?
He could well do, Sam, and I got a feeling that it's now or never for Ballina. He needs at least 2 laps, you'd reckon, because remember, Cookie Games, you'll need to dispatch him as well. Goes for a late move down the inside! My word, around the hairpin bend. He did go for it. And once again, they're wheel to wheel. Facilio hanging on to P2, but Ballina has definitely shaken the pot here as they head their way around 200R. Ballina went for it there. He certainly did as they head round Spoon Curve and around the latter part of it now. He knows he still needs to push. No front wing damage on both cars as they make their way down now towards the 130R. Still currently on top, Cookie Games. Facilio in P2. There you can see Ballina just in behind the pair of them as they come down towards the Center Casio Triangle chicane. Metiu also looking for a late break maybe on Cornet as well as Ballina now pushes that Haas around the final chicane, round the final corner at turn 18. He might yet utilise some overtake. He certainly does. He is not conserving. He's going for it here, but he's losing time in abundance right now. Has not got any ERS left. And Facilio, he's challenging for the lead here. Who's been your driver of the day, Sam?
Oh, I think Cookie Games has held it beautifully for this race. He's definitely held it quite strong in the lead, and it looks like he's about to win. Looking at a few others though, we've got to look at CC Brain, Messina Rakeen and Metiu. Messina Rakeen didn't even set a lap time. He's in 7th place, but we haven't seen too much from him. But considering Cookie Games on for his first victory, he's held it from lights to flag. It looks like Cookie Games, if he does win this race, is my driver of the day. And Ballina, watch out for him.
Yeah, we got a movement here. Currently, Ballina making his way towards the hairpin. Ben takes the outside line there. Yeah, this time on Facilio. And once again, he cannot quite do it, but he might have the favourable line heading up through 200R. He's not alone, though, because Metiu going wheel to wheel this time with Cornet as they come in towards Spoon Curve. Metiu going for glory late on. Wheel to wheel action. And certainly they have a penalty, certainly further back. No penalties here in the top 5. Cornet relegated to P5, though. Metiu, what pace. Absolutely brilliant. CC Brain looking to take a chunk out of the McLaren as well. Damage time for Cornet as they come round. 130R, still nose to tail, wheel to wheel action. Metiu hangs on, pushing through. Oh, contact again between the pair of them. CC Brain trying to get a result here, but it's gonna be Cookie Games, the winner of the Japanese Grand Prix, and Ballina at the death picks up a P2 right at the end. Facilio holds on to P3. Metiu in P4. What a drive. Cornet down in P5. Messina Rakeen up to P6. CC Brain, after all those moments at the final part of the race, relegated to P7. Ash Best in P8. Simon in P9. Cohen P10. Santiri P11. Rudy P12. Dynastics P13. But Cookie Games did what he couldn't last week. P1 in the WOR PS4 Japanese Grand Prix. What a phenomenal grandstand finish, Sam.
Yeah, much deserved from Cookie Games at the top of the field, and a brilliant win in the end. But Ballina, literally never say die attitude there, getting past Facilio. I'm a little bit concerned because I didn't really see how desperate it did look, but he did definitely push Facilio off the track, so probably a few angry words for Facilio maybe after this race. But he's got a podium here today as his first podium of the season, so he's going to be quite happy with that indeed. But I don't know what happened, because he was still in second at the exit of the corner and he just seemed to have slowed down, which obviously let Ballina by. So whether Facilio perhaps caused the incident between the two and he just gave up the position to Ballina in mutual respect, I don't know. We will have to wait and see, but Ballina really looked desperate in that last corner and really got the move done. But Cookie Games, brilliant victory for him today.
Yeah, superb victory indeed, and he will take the trophy here for the Japanese Grand Prix here at WOR. Amazing stuff indeed. Absolutely phenomenal race, and lots of action. Ballina holding on for P2 at the end, heading around the final corner. Wheel-to-wheel action between him and Facilio around the final corner up towards the line, and that will give him the points, of course, to contribute for his battle for the title, certainly for this season's WOR PS4 Championship. We'll have a look at the final results now, folks, here in grid order, of course. Cookie Games in P1. Ballina, he raised up 2 places from the start, P4 up to P2. A great drive and a great strategy call to jump on the hard tyres. Facilio, P3, a great drive here on his visit here in WOR. Metiu, what a strategy call after the safety car. P13 up to P4 after going on that stint on the soft tyres. Cornet down in P5. Messina Rakeen, P6. CC Brain, who looked so dangerous towards the end of the race. Messina Rakeen, incidentally, P20 up to P6. What a drive. Ash Best up into P8, getting into the points. Simon in P9. Cohen in P10. Santiri P11 as well. Rudy there in P12. Further down, Dynastics in P13. Young Power, P14. Dino, of course, was a DNF as well as Young Power. Legend retired as well. Faris Racing, Benny, Lars Kramer, Jory, also all retired. But what can we say about that result there? Epic scenes indeed. Cookie Games and Ballina taking it all the way to the end. Ballina holding off Facilio at the latter stages of that phenomenal grandstand finish. But what a result for Cookie Games, Sam. He did what he couldn't last week. Sensational result.
Yeah, and he's done it by a clear margin as well. He's done it by a second. And yeah, he deserves driver of the day. I know Messina Rakin, P20 to P6 is very credible indeed. I think he put on a great display, but the fact that Cookie Games is his first victory, and not only that, he kept it from lights to flag as well, and he had a very difficult Facilio who looked like he could be making his move at any point, and then of course Ballina, which at the end there would have been on the best tyre. So Cookie Games held his nerve, he kept it clean, and he actually kept it quite away from the two guys as well. And there we go, that's the winner. Yeah, I think he deserves it very much so, and maybe perhaps a little bit more of a charge towards the end of the season.
It could well be. And I have to say, you give him every prospect to do it. Naturally, it's a long way to go, though, from where he's currently situated in the championship. But nevertheless, he was still there and did it where it counted. And naturally, that's his first win of the season. So full credit there to Cookie Games, who didn't look to score a single point. He scored 6 points in the first race at Bahrain. And then, of course, the next one, when we came up to, I believe we scored no points then in the race afterwards at the Netherlands. Further up then, heading up to the most recent race, remember, he scored 10 points then when he competed, of course, at Belgium. Of course, since then, has not managed to tickle the top end. That's his first podium and his first win to boot as well. Absolutely sensational. But I want to say amazing stuff indeed. I want to thank everyone as well at home for watching this event. It's been absolutely extraordinary, folks. We've enjoyed every moment here tonight of the PlayStation Championship, and naturally there's a lot of there's certainly some comments in the live chat. I know a lot of the drivers are going to be I suppose debating what happened there on track. Amazing stuff indeed, though. A phenomenal race. I'm seeing this some of the comments as well. A lot of prospects here for I think looking further down, some comments here about Ballina, obviously, to do with that controversial move towards the end. Naturally, many would look at it as probably a bit of a desperate attempt, but nevertheless, amazing fight towards the end. And, you know, it just goes to show how much these guys are willing to put stuff on the line to certainly win a world championship.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Ballina, he just wants to be near the front. He wants to prove he is the best driver on this grid. And obviously, with the championship lead he's got extending tonight, he definitely has shown a very strong attitude of wanting to be a champion. But maybe this race, by suggesting on the comments, of course, maybe he was fighting a little bit too hard. But that depends on what the stewards think and what everyone thinks. But yeah, Ballina really, really wanting to finish this off with a podium and obviously potentially with a win. So, which he didn't get one of them. He got the other, but I think there will be potentially words in the chats to take a look at come the end of this race.
Absolutely. We're going to see if there's anyone who wants interviews, obviously, shortly. We're just waiting to see or get confirmation. So please, obviously, bear with us, folks. We will keep you up to speed very, very shortly. Obviously, I want to hear from you as well, folks, as to who you thought was the top performer. Certainly out of the those who were racing out there today. Obviously, a lot of drama that had happened. Quite a few DNFs as well. A lot of people struggling to actually manage to keep things on the track. Naturally, we saw lots of retirements here today, but naturally that's what Japan is, a very technical circuit. We spoke about the snake section heading up in the first sector, and naturally that can certainly cause a few spikes and certainly a few spokes in a race format. But naturally towards the end, a sensational drive nevertheless by Cookie Games, and great to see him finally get rewarded after his epic efforts in qualifying yet again. So a massive plaudit to him. But yeah, madness towards the end. Naturally, I think it was when everyone jumped on the soft tyres after the safety car, Sam, and that's what instigated a lot of the drama and the crazy action that we saw out on track.
Yeah, most certainly. And I think obviously the race result was completely turned on its head, really, by that safety car. And that's why we like safety cars, really, is that the race could be turned on its head like that. But Like you said, George, this is a very tight circuit. It was going to be difficult to overtake, and this is our point really. These drivers who made overtakes, maybe they could have been a bit too much, but this is a track where overtakes are very, very rare, and these drivers obviously need to move up the field somehow. So, definitely, most certainly, was difficult, but I do think Ballina was a bit too aggressive at the end there, maybe a bit too desperate to get past Vasilio.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're just waiting now for the interviews to come about. I believe we have got two men in the box now. We're going to obviously start with our race winner. Phenomenal race indeed. Cookie, welcome to the commentary box, my friend. A phenomenal drive indeed. Obviously made up for the misfortune of last week at Italy. You must be delighted with the win. Cookie, you there?
It's muted at the moment. Do you need to unmute it?
Yeah, sorry. My bad. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have wished for anything better, Pole, which caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it, to be fair. And yeah, then just managing the race and staying in front of the guys behind me.
Yeah, it was a great effort because naturally you were a little bit hard done by at Italy. Of course, your qualifying performance the previous week has it certainly garnered you a very good opportunity to land some serious points. You did manage to land 10 points prior in Belgium. Naturally, though, this is your best performance this season. First podium on the board, and it's a win. You must be thrilled.
Yes, of course. I mean, yeah, that was, I achieved my goal for this season. So yeah, now it's just trying to build on it and yeah, hopefully more podiums.
Absolutely. Well, that jets you right up the order naturally and brings you right in the fight of the midfield. Of course, CC Brain was very much in the thick of it. Of course, Shizu Cohen was there as well. And, at the end of the day, this is what you got to do. Race wins are obviously everything. Just sort of assess your season. Is there things, obviously, has it been a steady progression? Have you had to sort of work at your game as such? Because obviously it takes time to adjust when it comes to each individual track here on the F1 2020 game. How much work are you putting in to try and lift your performance, should we say?
Well, as the end of the game cycle is coming to an end, I'm slowly having less and less leagues to race in. And before this season started, I just changed my wheel from G29 to Fanatec, so I'm still getting used to it in a way. So yeah, just building up on it. Slowly practicing. That's it.
Yeah, no, it certainly looks like that's what you were doing, and I have to say it showed. Certainly given your efforts in qualifying. Obviously as well, I wanted to talk about the safety car as well, because lots of drivers came into box onto the softer tyres. Did you at all feel at some point that you were going to be left in jeopardy? And of course Ballina as well, who opted for the harder tyre, as opposed to the rest of you who went onto the mediums halfway through. Did you at all think your race was in jeopardy at that point? Did you think maybe towards the end things might get a little bit tough?
I knew it was gonna get tough at the end. Like the last few laps were really, I had no grip at all. Like I was understeering in every corner. It was almost impossible to drive. But yeah, Balliner was on hards, which I thought to go on hards, but at the last second I changed it to mediums because, well, most people went then on mediums. I thought I could get the mediums to the end, but yeah, Balliner was on a different level in the last few laps. He was really fast.
Yeah, well, naturally, you managed to hold him back in a great performance, to say the least. And obviously, looking ahead at the future tracks, we're heading over to Austria next to the Red Bull Ring at Spielberg, and then following that, Abu Dhabi, and then Brazil for the big finale. What are your thoughts on those final three tracks? Are they tracks that you feel that you're confident at, or are there anything there that could potentially slip you up?
Well, Austria, I like Austria. That's the one track. And after that, Brazil, I don't like it. And a fun fact, I still haven't driven on Abu Dhabi from the start of the game. I haven't touched the track, so it's going to be interesting, to say at least.
So we may not expect the same result at Abu Dhabi then?
We'll see, Depends how much practice I'll put in. I never liked the track. I still don't like it, but I'll naturally give it my best.
Well, naturally, I'm sure you will. But congratulations on a great first win this season, a first podium as well to boot, and 25 points head your way, my friend. Well done.
Yes, thanks.
Well done, well done. Next up, we have the P3 man, Facilio, making his race debut here today at WOR. But what a way to start for the Haas team. And amazing stuff indeed. Qualified well, and at the end of the day, managed to achieve a podium as well to boot. Facilio, you must be pleased with the podium.
Hello. Yes. I can't deny that I am very, very very emotional. And this is a championship that I used to watch on YouTube and Twitch on PlayStation and Xbox, and racing against these guys and being able to start in second place and finish third. I mean, it's a great emotion for me. It's a great emotion.
Well, I have to say, you must be delighted. And I got to say, you wowed us all in the commentary box because naturally we hadn't heard of you heading into qualifying. This was your first visit, and there was no records of you this season. How important was it to qualify well today at Suzuka?
That was very important. That was very important because in Suzuka it's very hard to overtake, especially in the DRS trains. So I had that time at 25-1, something like that. But to do that in the official session, in the official lobby, I didn't expect it at all. So it was amazing for me. So I started second, and the race, I managed the race. I only wanted to be as clean as possible. No warnings, no contacts with other drivers, and I think I was able to do that, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, well, I have to say, it was a great first race for you here at WOR, and naturally, we're going to be very interested to see where you take it further. Naturally, that lots of these drivers are fighting to be the very top of the PlayStation 4 platform. Now, you're an exciting talent. The first time I've seen you race, where are you planning on going with this form? I mean, naturally, looking ahead, I was just talking to Cookie about the tracks we have coming up. What are your thoughts heading through? Are you looking to get a full-time seat? Or are we going to be seeing Facilio battling on track with these guys in the future as well?
I hope so. I have to thank the admins for being so patient and kind with me. And yes, of course, I hope in the future to get a seat and to keep competing with all the guys in this category.
Well,
of course.
Well, that's very kind of you to hear, and obviously looking ahead at the future as well. Do you have any bigger plans? Have you got ambitions for esports, or are you primarily a league racer?
I mean, esport is a big word, and I always try to improve playing with very good racer, very good drivers in this game. The only thing I want to do is to improve and to have fun with the best gamers that there are on this game. So I don't dream too much, but this has been a very, very good moment for me. I didn't expect it at all.
Well, you were absolutely tenacious, brilliant, and it was excellent to see you out on track, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again as well. So congratulations on a P3, great podium, and I'm sure we'll see you again very, very soon.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Facilio. What an incredible race indeed there, Sam. Obviously, the interviews there, Facilio sounds very confident, of course, and great to hear from Cookie as well on his race win. Naturally, now as we head towards the end of the season, Sam, it's going to be interesting. What are your thoughts as we head to Austria, Abu Dhabi, and the latter stages of this season to finish at Brazil as well? It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think to be honest with you, the title is kind of now gone to Ballina. He's got one hand on the trophy, not officially done yet, but I believe he's 40 somewhat points clear now, so he's very, very sure about his championship hopes now, and that's another podium for him as well. P2 on the track again. I don't know if he got the fastest lap here, but he may have done. That may have boosted his points up one more as well. But I think also constructors as well. Now with Midnight gone, I think that has gone well in Alfa Romeo's favour now. And I think with Ballina finished P2, and I think Ash Best had a respectable result as well, finishing in the top 10. We will be possibly looking at constructors and drivers wrapped up very, very soon. And I have to say to the Alfa Romeo team in general, great teamwork between the two of them. And obviously put in those really good performances. Ash Best been on the podium a few times. And of course, Ballina still yet to get that fourth victory of the season since his free winning streak. But he's still on the podium very, very often. And he's looking like a very fancy driver for this title now.
Yeah, I mean, just assessing Ash Best's performances. I mean, he has played a very important role in all of this for Alfa Romeo. While he is not reaching for the stars and hitting the podiums like Ballina is, at the same time, he has scored 2 podiums this season and been regular in the points as well. He looks like a very formidable character as well, in certainly garnering points. I think we could see this title decided at Austria next week. I believe it could fall into the favour of Alfa Romeo as soon as that. I think given the form that Ballina's in and certainly the tenacity that he's shown on those hard tyres, even in their younger stages, to rise up through the field and keep on the rear end of those medium tyre drivers, I think it's a huge credit to his performance and the credit to his pace as well. But like you say, anything can happen. But is it true, and I suppose you'd agree with me, Ash Best plays a far more important role than people may think in the way that this title has gone for Alfa Romeo?
I think that's the same with every single league race. I think we just judge one driver on like winning the championship, but a teammate is so important. A good teammate will always be there to support you. And Ash Best, he's the Kimi Raikkonen to Ballina's Sebastian Vettel. Of course, the fact that is that Ballin has actually won the title most likely, not confirmed, but most likely. Whereas obviously Sebastian Vettel didn't. But Ash Best, so experienced. He's a winner in on the F1 games in league racing. He's got a lot of history, goes way back to F1 2016, I believe, as well. So a lot of experience. He's got a very very good mental game, good mental head, and he is able to be there for Ballina to support him. And that is exactly the dream teammate for Ballina this season. And I think he has played an absolute vital role for Ballina because he's basically giving him that sort of support there to be alongside him, where a few others maybe not really communicating with their teammates as much. But I do believe all these constructors, particularly Alfa Romeo and Mercedes, have had good communications with each other. And you know what they say? The one phrase they say: "Teamwork makes the dream work." And the dream, obviously, for Alfa Romeo was that constructors' title.
Certainly was, and they're certainly going the right way to clinching it as well. But I've got to say, folks, it's been a pleasure once again bringing you the best in PS4 here on this WOR series. That's for sure. I've got to say, Friday nights have never been the same, and they've been absolutely superb as well. And we're going to be looking forward to Austria next week. Of course, it all starts on Monday night when we hit up Xbox and we see the best of them fighting it out at the Austrian circuit of Spielberg at the Red Bull Ring. So do not miss that one. 8 o'clock. On Monday night, of course, so do not go away, do not miss that. Of course, if you want to check out WOR, you can do so on Twitter at WOR League, and there you can find all the latest news with regards to the league as well, the latest updates concerning both championships in Xbox and PlayStation 4. They race right through the week, of course, in WOR, plenty of activity on the Twitch channels and YouTube as well. Be sure to check them out as well. If you want to check me out as well, you can do so. Certainly, my Twitter handle is at George Morgan TV. Please come along, drop me a follow if you want to, and if you want to as well, drop me a message or even a tweet as well. I generally respond as well. We've also got Sam Thompson. Sam, what's your Twitter handle, my mate?
My Twitter handle is VSR Sam, and same with George. Send me a message if you like. I will definitely respond to it.
There you go. So, folks, I hope you all enjoyed that tonight. Tonight, Cookie Games. He stole it from the cookie jar and took P1. It wasn't enough, though, for Fusilio. He got his first podium. Not quite a P2, but a P3. Ballina beat him to the punch. That's the end of tonight, folks. Please leave a like and subscribe. We'll see you next time in Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix.